going to introduce myself, and we'll talk a little bit about, oh, actually, I dropped half of mine. So we talked a little bit about, you know, everybody's very familiar with these, and about, you know, Mark and I thought we were going to talk a little bit about the masks and, you know, all this kind of stuff, because we'll get into that a little bit later on into this webinar a bit. But I went to go get some out of my purse, and I had like 5 of them. They become collectibles, you know. And girls definitely have it worse because we have the makeup and we have the lipstick. So ours never look amazing. They always look like I'm thinking, how sanitary are these? Who knows? But we won't get into all that part. But anyway, we just thought we'd be funny with like all of our the new living life in a new way, where a year ago today, literally a year ago today, we would have never thought that this would be, you know, something you carry around in your purse ×5, right? But I just wanted to introduce myself. I am Darlene Mahoney. I am the National Digital Sales Director with SeniorLivingGuide.com. And I really enjoy working with my team in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Virginia. And then I work with clients all over the country and helping them just get more heads in beds, per se, more leads into their communities, into any type of senior, any senior resource that they're looking to connect with. So that's kind of what I do. And then I do things like this, webinars, and connect with folks like Mark. So Mark, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, Marc Tumminello. I'm with HeartLegacy, sales funnel tools and marketing platforms for senior living. And I'm excited to share a little bit with you on some things that we've learned and possibly some good solutions to maybe help guide you through 2021 and beyond, as things are moving so quickly and different, and what we thought was normal is not normal, and what maybe we all were thinking, wow, wait until 2021 comes, man, things are really going to change and it's going to be great and back to normal, whatever normal means. So I appreciate everyone jumping on, and hopefully we give you a couple nuggets that you can take away. We do have the chat, and actually I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with a question, and if you can chat your answer in there, and if someone actually gets the answer, and Darlene's going to actually communicate what each answer is, then you're going to win a great little gift card prize. So that's where we're going to start, and then we'll jump into the meat and potatoes, if that's good. How does that work for you, Darlene? You ready?
That sounds great to me. I feel like Vanna White over here, so I'll take it.
Okay, so I'm gonna assume that everybody knows what's on the screen right now. That's my guess. So 93%. So I don't know if you all know, but the McDonald brothers started the first and second McDonald's in San Bernardino, California. I live in Mobile, Alabama. I am from Los Angeles, though, and I'd actually been there years and years and years ago, the original 2 that were on the way up to the mountains. And so the McDonald brothers had, at this time in 1959, 1 shop, and they were doing quite well. But as time was going, they had a much bigger menu than they had even prior to Ray Kroc purchasing, buying out the McDonald brothers. That's a whole nother story. But so one day, the 2 McDonald brothers, one was a front guy. He had the personality, he worked with the staff. And the other McDonald brothers was a engineer and a mechanical engineer. And he was all about process. And even today, the majority of fast foods in the country still use the processes that he put in, where the stainless steel shelves went, all the different ways that they could ensure that quality was there, the right amounts were portioned out correctly. They still leverage those today. So on a very busy day, on a day that right during lunch of all times, the mechanical McDonald's brother came running into the other brother and was just screaming at him, saying, look, I've got this figured out. Look at this. You're not going to believe it. 93%. So 93% of what? That's my question to anyone. What do you think he was talking about? 93% of what?
This is Okay, I have a couple questions or answers. When do you want me to tell you what some of the answers are?
Now, I'm ready. Hit it.
Okay. Yeah, because they're coming in fast and furious. Like, I don't know if I can keep up with
Hit
this.
it.
I have customers. I have
Great
automation.
answer. Wait, we'll do one. Great answer. Not the right answer, but a great answer.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
So I have quality, automation,
93% quality.
hamburgers, orders.
Nope.
People came out for lunch. Oh, wait, where'd my check go? Hold on.
Nope.
Okay, hold on. They're coming in so fast. Branding.
Nope.
Fast coupons, portion sizes.
Ooh, nope. Close. Nope.
Sales
All right,
and profits.
let's hit it. I'm gonna throw it out there. Here we go.
I have a ton more.
Well, we can't. I don't think anyone's gonna get it. I really don't. They might, but we'll see. Let's throw it out there. We're gonna be going in for an hour here just on this.
Okay.
So 93%. So the brothers up front, I said, what in the heck? 93%, what? Well, the McDonald brothers had about 22 things on their menu at that time. And it was a very broad menu compared to like in the 60s and 70s when they were really growing what they had on there. And the brothers said 93% of our sales are a hamburger, French fry, and a shake or a Coke. 93%. 7% was all these other things that took the efficiency out of their business. They had, they had the fish fillet. They had a lot of other items on there, and they were selling, 1 or 2% of those, and it would take them out of their rhythm and out of their organizational skills to make those items. So why have those items?
I actually had one that was pretty close.
Okay. We'll read that in a minute. So what they ended up doing was breaking that menu down to hamburger, cheeseburger, fries, Coke, and of course shake, and they kept the Chick-fil-A. And that was it for a long time. So I just thought everyone would get a kick out of that, because what you do every day is systems. And I think when you go through, we go through this next 30, 35 minutes, you're going to see that operations and all these different things are going to change dramatically. So how do we make it simple? Whoever makes it simple wins. That's typically what happens. If you make it difficult, people just sort of fade away, and it's very difficult for them to concentrate and to be successful. So I want to hear the one that was very close.
Someone said efficiency, and then one was wasting food.
Yeah. Very good.
So I think that
how many did you have? Holy smokes.
I want to say like maybe 60 or 70.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and count because there's said a lot. So we'll have to go back and look, and then we'll look at we'll look at that.
All right, maybe that's the person that'll win.
Which one?
The one that said operational,
efficiency. Okay.
Operational efficiencies. Yeah, I think that's a very close answer to it right there. Very good.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Well, thanks for participating, everyone.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, Darlene, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So I do want to mention, all right, we're going to kick off this, this webinar. We definitely want your questions. Put them in the chat box, but we're not probably going to address them till the end of the webinar, because we're going to just kind of go through this, and it's just easier for us to address them at the end. So feel free to put them in as we're going in, so you don't forget. You know how you'll think of something and then forget at the end. So you're welcome to do that. We'll address them at the very end, or you can wait till the very end, whichever is preferential for you. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do, and go ahead and kick it off.
All right. Again, thanks everyone. I think I jumped the gun. I didn't really tell you. All I did was mention sort of where I'm from. So at HeartLegacy and Sales Mail, we are app-based and video-based. That's our common theme. That's what we do every day. Senior living is our core business. For the last 6 years, we've been working with folks like you, and I know there are some folks like Greg and a few others that leverage our solution today, and we want to thank all of them for that as well. So hopefully, as we guide through this, we're going to talk about trends and some other things that, you know, we don't really know all the answers to those. I don't know if anyone does. They just are seeing some of these trends. And a lot of this information has been coming from everyone from like Nick, which is all about finance, right? They're the largest, you know, conference for the financial folks, the folks that are funding senior living and land and multifamily housing, all of those types of things. Or from like McKnight or Senior Living News. There's just a lot of great periodicals out there that help guide us. Sometimes it just gets overwhelming. So Darlene and I were talking and said, why don't we try to do something a little simpler, but sort of pinpoint and you know, bring out the ones that we feel and what we're hearing are going to be the 3 or 4 big things in 2021 moving forward. So we know that change is here, you know, and we know that more change is coming, all of you. And, you know, with some of us just like, wow, how much change can we handle? So really, we'd like to share some of those things. We'd like to share what's trending. And we'd like to share with you a few solutions we think that might be able to take you over some of the hurdles and the challenges that are out there.
Right.
So what we're going to go over is change, as I just mentioned, but then let's talk about focusing on recovery. So when I say focus on recovery, I think a lot of people will be nodding their heads, whether you're in your community or in your corporate office or you're in your home office. You know, there's a lot to recover from. And I will talk about, I think, the 3 big ones, but there's probably a lot more than what we're even going to go over as far as recovery. And then what is trending, and then increased visibility. So, you know, to me, increased visibility is really a big, powerful tool, and I'll explain that towards the end. And then we're also going to share a couple videos with you and a couple what we call sort of informal videos with you that I think might be able to help you to gain visibility, to stay up with the trends, to focus on your recovery, and to handle the change that's coming. So let's dig in. So recovering from 2020, I'd like to see what that list looks like. All of you probably have the list. You know, what do we mean? So, you know, the initiatives to handle in, well, let me go back for a second. So recovering from 2021, I mean, okay, there's COVID, and I think that's what's on all of our minds. You know, COVID has really put us in a tough situation. I think it's definitely made us think. It's going to make us stronger, and we're going to rebuild and build from it. But I'll tell you, I believe the media for senior living has really done a poor job for us. I mean, my goodness, if I have to hear the word that this is a facility again, this is everything out there is a nursing home, and nobody's doing anything right. And that is so far from the truth. It's unbelievable. And you know, I can't believe, and I'm sure leaders in senior living are putting pressure on the media and putting pressure out there to say, hey, look, come in and see what we really have. But that's the biggest hurdle. And I would argue with all of you that for years and years and years, the community down the road from yours was in some ways, a competitor. But I do believe that senior living does a great job of partnering with their other communities, with their competition. So they're sort of your competition, but actually you group together to make yourself stronger. I know that for a fact, and that's a wonderful thing. That's probably one of the strongest things about senior living. But at the end of the day, you know, you still want to get as many leads in, and you want to get your occupancy up when the leads are coming in. So, but what I would argue today is, I think your biggest competition today is fear and uncertainty.
Right. And getting back to what you are referring to regarding the news, and that's something that people hear it and hear it and hear it. They've heard it for a year. They have the fear already. You're adding that layer of utilizing the word facility. And I know that sometimes we use it as well because it's such an industry term, but we have to get away from that as well, because it's a community, and that's such a friendlier term. And that's what really it is. It's a community for these folks. It's where they live. It's where they eat. It's where they, you know, have engagement with other people. And really, I think that is what needs to be betrayed to help ease those fears for family that are going to be needing the services. I mean, at the end of the day, these services are not going to go away. And there's going to be pent up demand for those folks that aren't utilizing those services and know that they need them here soon, who are just holding off until they feel more comfortable. But using the word facility and nursing home and these other terms that, you know, news is using, so you have to kind of redefine that. And some of it is going to be, you know, at some point it would be nice to educate some of our local news and things like that, what these communities really are and what they do bring to the table.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So I think that's sort of the situation that we all feel that senior living is in right now. And I know there are a ton of different initiatives out there to regain occupancy, normalize operations. But, you know, so what are those? As far as regaining occupancy, when you know that really your competition is probably fear out there and people just don't understand because they don't, perception is reality, and they do not have the truth about what is happening in the senior living sector. They just don't know. And how do we educate them? How do you educate millions and millions and tens, hundreds of millions of people in the United States about senior living? We know the market is gigantic, right? Because really your market is baby boomers, and baby boomers are the biggest population out there right now. So how do we get there, grab their attention? How do we help them to understand the truth, simply the truth about all the great things that are going on? So it's not going to be easy, but I think that there's many groups that are on the right path, and they have that as one of their big initiatives. So if you're looking at some of the trends that are going on today, the top 3 initiatives that even the small to the very large senior living organizations out there, number 1 is definitely safety. You would think it was going to be occupancy, right? But number 1 is safety. That's the number 1 trend out there and the number 1 initiative. Number 2, occupancy. That's the number 2. So, and you know, there's so many different people involved in occupancy. It means so much to an organization, allows them to do so much when they have 90+ occupancy rate. All of those things help a lot. When you don't have those, you're sort of spinning a little bit just to get to where you need to be even, and it makes it tough. So, and then normalize operations. Safety, occupancy, and operations. So normalizing operations, that even for me, talking to a couple leaders around that exact term, was really difficult for me to wrap my head around it. So, you know, I guess the best way to say it was to make your community safe and perfectly normal. Wow, okay, well, what does that mean? And as I thought about it, you know, I now think I understand. Get your operations back to normal, restore normalcy and standard processes, and things will come together. And I think you have to start somewhere. So a lot of them said that's where we started. That's where we're starting. We want things to get as normal as they possibly can, yet we have to embrace the changes that are coming, and we have to put processes in place thereafter. So those are the top 3. I wonder if the 1, 2, or all 3 of those have hit your list on what you're looking at for 2021 and beyond.
Right.
So I think
because
the other one is customer service.
Yeah, I mean, because reality is a senior living will not go back to what it was prior to COVID. I don't think it's going to go back to business as usual.
No, I don't think so either. So old ways won't open new doors. I'm sure everyone's going, boy, I definitely believe that. So, you know,
I
what
just
are we
said
going to do? Yeah. So, you know, consumers are going to bring us much higher expectations in 2021. You know, they're just looking for a lot more. So, you know, how in the world do we tackle this and handle it, and how do we help guide them and have that mutual balance in the middle? I mean, you know, what kind of expectations do you think they're going to have? Well, this is what's trending. This is what we're hearing. So many folks are thinking that, you know, costs are too high. So they're going to be, you're going to have a ton of pressure on pricing and on, you know, what they're getting for their money. And whereas I think in the last probably 5 years, prior to this last 2020, that really wasn't the case. It was a lot of amenity discussions, there's a lot of location discussions, things like that. So, you know, we know that that's coming down the road. We know that some people are already looking at the length of their lease or their contract, you know, because of the anxiety they have, because of the misinformation that has been sent out there in the last year. So again, if they're not speaking to the right people, if they don't have help, someone guiding them through, then they're going to come with a lot of these types of questions. Specific things about, you know, increased communication so that they know what's going on a regular basis. That is probably was number 3 on the list. Amenities, visits. You know, it's tough when they're not physically in there, but you know, you can bring your facility to them, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So expectations, expect it, you know, consumers are going to bring you a much higher expectation than they have in the past. And then anxiety. I think anxiety primarily, number 1 on the list for anxiety it's always really been this way, but I think it's just more intensified now. You know, they sometimes have that guilt when they are placing their mom and dad, aunt, uncle, whoever it may be, and that anxiety is going to probably be a little bit stronger. So your teams are going to have more pressure on them as they guide them through that process. And I think we have some ways that we can show you that might help that a lot, actually, because again, they're getting misinformation. So how are we combating it? How are we getting the word out? Are you doing it on a regular basis? Is it a flyer? What are you doing to get the truth out there?
Yeah.
And for your community specifically.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we do is we get on market calls just on the marketing side, you know, what's going on in your area within our publication states. And one of the things that we have heard, and I thought it was really, really good share, was going back to the very basics of really just looking at upping your customer service standards within your communities. Now, I know, you know, there's probably people on this call that have really great customer service, but I think it's something you have to kind of go back and revisit. And one of the conversations on this call was looking at it, not just from the folks that have that, you know, contact with the families at the onset, but even going back to the staff that, you know, waits on the residents or in housekeeping. Literally, it's going through every single person that works inside the walls of that community, really going through and digging deep and really teaching and talking to them about high quality customer service, because that's such a trickle down effect, because that can really completely affect as well. And that's just basic 101 that can make a big difference in making people feel very comfortable living there. And then also that can trickle down to the families as well. So I thought that was a really good conversation. I just wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
Super basic.
Well, and senior living, you know, in a company, I think we actually talked about this morning, ironically, but, you know, the owner of a company is not the one that's making the difference, that's actually building, right? It's the employees. The employees are the one, your staff are the ones that are going to build the culture with you and continue to have that culture that you're building, hiring those types of people, training them the right way. And I think all of those are going to intensify in 2021 and beyond, because as expectations and anxieties are coming at you left and right, you know, some of these people might not be able to handle it. So I know that down on that list, like 5th, and I thought it would probably be 1, but it wasn't, that I was looking at was hiring the right people, having the right culture, bringing those people on, right training programs, understanding and putting the right person in the right place. Those were just a few, but you know, that's not just for senior living, that's for all. But now all the changes, it's going to be even a little more intensified for sure. So so talk just a little bit about, you know, again, the top, you know, safety, occupancy, operations, things like that. What else is coming, how are we going to adapt and change? So the blend of healthcare and hospitality in senior living is going to be very intensified. Are you a healthcare organization or are you a hospitality organization? And where do you sit in that? And do you have a nice balance? So much stuff, many articles today are around healthcare will be the #1 priority. And in some ways it probably is, but maybe we haven't spread that word out either. So, but you're going to see so many new things coming down the path, increased focus on care and safety, telehealth, medical directors being, and very likely, maybe that just have to be a standard, it might be mandated that they are in your organization somewhere, not maybe in every community, but that's another area that or another possibility that might be happening. So there's a lot of discussions around that. Definitely telehealth has been already in play in some communities, but I think it's going to be more intensified as well. And then just to add, more stressful situations, unprecedented financial operations pressure, which I think most of you are already seeing that, but it might intensify moving down the line. So, with that being said, and I think I sort of alluded to it earlier, how do you keep your occupancy high so that the revenue flow allows you to do more things, allows you to think in a more timely fashion to make things happen instead of having a knee-jerk reaction to it, because that's a cycle a lot of people get into. It's a knee-jerk reaction because they're chasing their tail all the time because the pressures are tough. So these items here have been discussed. You've probably even been in a Zoom meeting discussing them. You've seen them in webinars. I mean, these are the items that are coming down the path. So what can we do to help ease that pressure, to get back to that normalcy that we talked about? How can we get more people in the outside world, which I believe is the #1 thing to do, to get them to really see who you are, what you do, and why you're a good fit, and why senior living makes sense for their loved ones. I think some folks have lost a little focus on that because, again, go back to the media, just, putting out information that was misinformation and just not really doing a good job of coming in, really seeing what's going on, and then telling the true story. So these are the things that are going to be coming down the way for 2021 for sure and beyond. But a lot of you are starting to see it now, I think, already. So we're better be prepared for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So what got to have some lightness in this as well. And I would say that, shoot from the rooftops, because you folks that are on this call now, and, there's hundreds of you, know that residents couldn't be happier, couldn't be safer, couldn't be happier. Lifestyle culture hasn't changed as far as what you've done in the past. Are there changes? Of course, there's changes for us, right? We already got the masks and everything else, but the work you're doing around that is amazing. But who knows it? That's really the problem.
In senior living, I have seen so many amazing stories shared by communities. I've seen them on LinkedIn. I've seen them in different places, but clearly it needs your voices. You have to be able to get these stories out because they're amazing stories. There's some really great stuff that's happened over the last year, and there's just daily stuff that happens on a daily basis within those communities, with your residents, that I think is can really make someone want to have their family member be a part of that community, and it can be very simple.
Yeah. So if you could reach 200,000 people in the course of a month and cost effectively, would that be a priority? Would that be something that would you feel would increase awareness to your communities? I think the answer would probably be yes.
Yeah.
And I really think that is the challenge today, and we need to look at ways where you can get that message out, where it is cost effective, where it's telling the true story, and it's getting people back to, hey, wait a minute, I want to give this group a call. I want to know more information. And how can that be done? So I'm going to show you and talk a little bit about that now. So without anything else said, I'm just going to play this. Remember, I'm zooming from, I'm streaming from Zoom, so the voice is sometimes a little behind, whatnot, but I think you'll get the gist here.
It can be challenging.
Director at Lakeside and Amelia Island. And the last 2 days, we have been so excited to do our COVID-19 vaccination clinic with Walgreens. They've been fantastic partners in helping us vaccinate 180 people on Thursday and another 180 on Friday. We've been able to vaccinate our residents, some of our family members, our staff, our third-party providers. We've been super excited with the turnout and how happy everyone is to have an opportunity to get this vaccine so that we can keep our residents and their families as healthy as possible through this pandemic. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
I love that. Cardboard.
So we'd love to know what you all think about that. I really loved it. I mean, they put some work into it, but very cost effective, right? It's not a ton of money, but they did a great job. But here's a couple things to think about when you're going to shoot a video and then post it out to social, right? Whether you're posting it to Facebook or you're posting it to Twitter, or you're posting it to YouTube, or you're posting it to wherever you're posting it, whatever medium you're using. They did a great job. Everyone was masked. Everyone was distanced. They really took their time, and then when they send these over to us, and we do the same thing to ensure that you have COVID in mind and all the things that you're doing inside that community, because that tells a great story too. So the story was fun. It was great music and people were smiling, but believe me, a lot of people are noticing those small things that make a big difference. Mm-hmm. And then when you're directors of sales, your activity director, having conversations with people that are inquiring, they're going to be asking those questions because maybe they've just seen that and it's been on social media and it mm-hmm. drew their attention. So you'll see a big difference if you get things like that out. And we'll talk a little bit about how often you should post things like that in just a little bit. Darlene, did you have a question there?
Yeah, no, and you can even send these out to folks that are interested. I mean, you can put them on your website, and even on our website, these types of videos we can include in our clients' listing pages. So you're adding that additional reach. So you have someone that comes to SeniorLivingGuide.com who's looking for your services, and they visit your listing page. They can even view this video on our website, and it can be what makes or break why they may not go to an actual local competitor because that video, or a Bernie Moves In or Drums Live, what I refer to as heartstring videos, they connect them more so than something that's not got any kind of passion in it as far as connecting them emotionally. It's just still images or anything like that. So it can definitely be really helpful, and you can use it in so many different ways. So absolutely.
Well, that's good. I'm just going to play one more video, and then I'm going to play an informal video. This is just people being creative inside the community, and I loved it. It's called the Gratitude Tree. So they created it, and it's wonderful.
This year has
brought many challenges, but we wanted to focus on the things in front of us for which we are grateful, because they are there. And this gratitude tree is a reflection of our gratitude. I am thankful for life. I'm thankful for my health, for my family, for my friends. I'm thankful that I live in a facility that is really aware of what else is going on in this day and time, and they're very careful with us. I'm thankful for everything, because God has certainly been good to me. I have really been blessed. I thought about it, and I came up with my faith and my family. Oh, I'm just so grateful to God answered prayers. I wasn't sure if this was something I would want to do. And we tried other places, but this place, Monticello West, was the one that God picked out and said, you will go there. And it has been a blessing to me.
Very nice. So, you know, some people say to us that, you know, boy, you know, big deal that you got a bunch of likes and hits and comments, and, you know, it does show that people watch it. And, you know, both of these have gotten just a ton of hits and stuff. But what we really watch are the followers. How many people start following this community? Because if they're following, they're getting the feed all the time. And if this is the only one they're following, then they're following you. And that's who they're going to reach out to, because they're following you. That's what's really important.
Right. And talking about it, that was a beautiful video. I mean, I absolutely loved it. And I don't know who could watch that and not love it. And the other thing is, just from, you know, our standpoint, for our clients, if they produce a video like that, or they have something like that, if they send it to us, we'll share it across our social media as well, because that's how we work with our advertising partners. So if they want to send us something like that, we will be happy to get that word out on ours as well. So extending that reach.
Great.
But that was an amazing video. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really sweet. So this is another video solution. I call it informal. So, I mean, you can do everything from a virtual tour on this, including the edited ones, of course. But this is great for, as we're talking about visibility, as we're talking about engagement, as we're talking about just communication in whole, which awareness and communication need to be increased through these times. This is another way that you can reach out to people, and you can stay face-to-face, even after COVID. And you can put a lot of information in these short videos, and it keeps either that prospect or that referral partner or whoever it is that you're commuting with sort of tethered to you, because now they feel they've built a relationship with you, which they have. So this is one of my favorites, very clever. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Hey Teresa, it's Bailey over here at Legend at Rivendell. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I so appreciate you and your family taking the time to tour with me last week. I know everyone is super busy right now, so I really appreciate it. And I hope that I was helpful and able to answer all of your questions. I was also going to let you know that even if you do not choose Legend at Rivendell as the future home for Bob, I just want to be a resource for you. Even if you choose another community in the area, you can always come to me with questions about senior living, and I will always be here for you. My cell phone number is right below, so I am just a text away. And I also was thinking about Bob today. Happy opening day for baseball. I know that we thought it would never get here, but it is, and I know he's super excited to be cheering on his Yankees. So I was going to let you know, I also looked through my closet, and I can be a Yankee fan for at least one day out of the year just for Bob. So let him know that, and I hope you guys are having a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
That's an incredible sales mail.
It's so cool. it's something I want to point out to everyone. So inside this wrapper here, you'll see this is what we call a call to action. So this is actually a URL behind here. You can change it to anything. But I love that this gal's obviously extremely sharp and very witty. But see, download move-in tips. So you click that, and it's going to take you to a PDF or a page that they have put together for tips. And that could be a virtual tour, it could be anything. And I love that. And of course, she's very clever in what she did here because she listens, obviously, to her potential customers and other people, and she tied it all together, which is super, super cool. And you could just feel that she loves what she does. There's no forcing here at all. She loves what she does, and that's the real piece, I think, of that, which is wonderful. So
yeah, our team utilizes those sales mails too, and it's something that's really great. You can do with just wishing someone happy holidays, happy new year. You could do something fun with it. They're an amazing way to keep in touch with a face-to-face. Anytime someone has that kind of more visual connection through video, I think you build a stronger relationship for sure.
Yeah. So I think we're going to try to get some Q&A, but just a little summary. How much change is too much? I would say that, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, that if you're going to take on large initiatives, which you probably already have them on your plate, if you tackle 10 big initiatives, you're never going to get them done. And, you might get one or two done the right way, and the other ones are just going to sort of, flap like flapping wings in the air. I mean, 3 is about the right number. And what are your top 3? And leave it at that. Don't go any further, and do those the best that you possibly can. Is it safety? Is it operations? Is it occupancy? Is it awareness? Is it visibility? What is it? Higher expectations, expect them. I put that in there in the summary because, they're coming and you've probably already been hearing it. So sometimes it feels good when you're feeling a little angst and getting these questions that you never had before, and, just feeling that, wow, this is getting tougher and tougher. It's happening to everybody. So that's really why I put it there. The blend of healthcare and hospitality to me is the one that just sort of blew my mind in a way, because senior living is so unique in that you're a combination of all of these. So how do you balance it? And, I would say safety's probably always been number one, but you do such a good job with the hospitality side of it as well, that it's quite a balance. And that balancing act, I think it's going to intensify just a little bit, but, everyone's going to figure it out. And, I'm all about awareness and visibility. I mean, it just really gets my goat, that we still haven't figured out how to communicate to the media to really tell the right story, which would help us tremendously. So we have to do it ourselves. All of us have to bear that responsibility to get messages like I just showed you out there, and it makes a difference. So let me leave you with this last bit of info. I don't know if you're marketing, you probably already know this. I'm preaching to the choir, but when you have information that you want to share on social media, and you don't have to use all the channels, right? Facebook is just a huge channel to use that gets a lot of visibility. So, that's the number one channel that a lot of people use. But YouTube's a great channel, and also Twitter. And a lot of people like to put their information out on LinkedIn because you have a lot of your audience, which are baby boomers, which are 50, 60, 65 years old. That's just making these decisions. So think about that as well. And then what is too much and what is not enough? So, how often should you post? So I would say that for videos, if you're using video, which video is the strongest medium out there, right? TV is no longer the most watched medium. It is video. 3 times a week. You think that's a lot? It's not. Because on Monday you posted it and you're going to get an audience. Well, guess what? You're going to get some of those same people, but a completely different audience on Wednesday. And on Friday, a completely different audience, and some the same. But it's building that market muscle memory, right? And social media is your best avenue. So the more you get out there and the more clever your content is, telling the story about who you are, what you do, and why you'd be a great choice is, to me, for bang on the buck, is the best thing you can possibly do. Let's get the word out. Could you imagine if every single senior living community in the country started posting and posting and posting and posting and posting and telling the true story? It would be huge. We'd change that in such a short time.
Yeah.
The perception that people have. But we'll get there, and it's going to happen. And we're already seeing it on our side because that's what we do for a living. And we're going to see more of it. So
Yeah. I do want to notate.
So that's it. I went too long. Sorry. So
no, that's okay. We do have some questions coming in, but I did want to just notate, if you're going to be posting, authentic videos on social media of things that are happening within your community, I recommend do not going live with anything, but recording it. And I recommend something under 60 seconds. 30 is typically the best way to go. Don't anything long format, people won't watch. So I do definitely recommend that. That's just my recommendations. So I had a comment, someone very passionate. Let me see here. I got to scroll up a little bit to get the name because it cut off. Said that it's their home and they're there to care for them. Marcia Grant. Yes, absolutely. We are paid to serve and care for them. So yes, it's their home. Many of these folks, and just like in that gratitude tree, it is their home. I love that video, by the way. I just can't even get over it. But so then we had Nia, and she said, I'm an owner of a small independently owned facility, and my husband and I are involved in the daily management and operations of the facility. Okay, so I guess she was just notating where she was from. That wasn't really a question. And then David mentioned from Personal Living, he's got a couple comments, which is super helpful. Reaching the right people is the challenge. That is always the challenge, especially if you don't have big marketing budgets where you can do, TV commercials and do a lot of programmatic and targeted, digital campaigns, things like that. It is really hard. And even then you still, it still can be problematic because you're capturing a little bit of a larger pool as well. But we just kind of mentioned some things that you can do that to reach as many as you can, with just really telling the right message. One thing that we did talk about in the beginning that's not even on the video side is just really elevating your customer service, making sure, that helps with reviews and all these different types of things that's going to have that trickle down effect in order to help build your business or build your communities. He also said, was that a branding video? I believe the community name was used once. I'm assuming you're talking about the COVID vaccine video. Was that a branding video, the COVID vaccine video, Mark?
Was it branded?
Was it a branding? Did they use that for some kind of branding, or they just put it on their website?
Well, their brand was on it. It's on all of them.
Right.
Their actual brand is on the front and the intro and the outro.
Right, but it wasn't used for branding. It was just used.
Oh no. Yeah.
No,
right.
It was just used
for
on
education.
Yeah. And just to clarify, that video, because we're using it on Zoom, it's significantly better quality video in real life. It's just Zoom slows it down and kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Right.
And even with the sales mill. Let's see here. Do you have some kind of picture? Oh, it's not scrolling down. Or suggestions for videographers. I'll let you answer that, Mark.
So if you want to have someone come into the facility and create a, one or two videos for you, that's very costly, but they're going to get it right. It can be a little tough on the community because they're coming in moving stuff. The videos you saw are from us, from HeartLegacy, and they're captured at the community level, edited at the HeartLegacy level, and then sent back for approval, and then you post them to social media. We help guide you through all that. But there are other options. So if you want to send me, I can send you some samples of what we do, and I can give you some other options as well. if you want to email me, that's on the screen. Be happy to do that. As a matter of fact, happy to send anyone information and samples just so that they can have it for your own, just like that one gal said, hey, if you don't pick our community, I'm still here to help you. Well, I feel the same way. If you're just going to leverage video, that would thrill me, because the more information that we can get out there, the stronger we're all going to be together.
Actually, I've seen a video by Mark's that he didn't play today, and it's still one of my favorites. It's like a tour video, but the person providing the tour is the daughter of one of the residents. And she talks about, as she's doing the tour, how much she loves this community. And to me, that's the best tour guide ever, is the daughter of a resident, because you're getting references by someone very passionate, and you're also getting the tour. It's a 2-for-1 deal. So he did do, his company did do a tour like that. It's still one of my favorites. And then one of the questions, are most facilities allowing types of visitation at this time to help with socialization? I think it varies by state, but I don't think many are allowing people actually inside. I think that some are doing some garden visitation, but I think it's just clearly state, county, community. I mean, I think it's varying degrees.
Right.
And then, I'm a private home care provider. Do you think strategies will work? I think that's definitely a harder sell, because that's maybe a side conversation. I'm not for sure. I don't know how to really answer that. Do you have an answer on that one, Mark?
Well, the sales mail tool is in a lot of home care today, because they can communicate to the family, but they can communicate to people that really don't understand what home care does, and they want to know all the services they provide, and then that way they can stay tethered to them, and and referral sources. You know, they're constantly working their referral base. So yeah.
Yes.
But not the edited videos necessarily, just the sales mail piece.
Just to sound, yes, that makes perfect sense. Actually, that would probably work amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and so Yvette Pearson mentioned, in South Carolina, our community is beneficial to our residents. However, we are not open to tours, which can be difficult. Yeah, which is great. Why having the video tours, being able to do that. You can do some creative stuff. I've seen a lot of really great creative tours that Mark's team has done. And then the sales mails as well. I mean, I've seen sales mails where the person that's really connected with the family does them really literally on a sales mail, because that can go up to 3 minutes. So very cool. I think that I'm going to be sharing, just so everyone that's on here, unless you've got some more questions, I'm going to be sharing all of Mark's contact information in an email with everyone that's on here. So no worries. And a link to the recording if you wanted to share it out with your team, or take a quick review if you feel like you missed a tidbit of information or a little nugget. But always feel free to reach out to either Mark or myself. If you ever have any questions, or you think that we might be a good resource for anything, we're always happy to jump on a call with you, or answer an email, or get to know you that way. Please always feel free to reach out to us, because we enjoy that part of our jobs as well. So, okay.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Hopefully there was 1 or 2 nuggets that you gathered from the last 45 minutes. And if there's anything you need, we're both here. And have a safe and wonderful rest of your day and Friday, and enjoy the weekend. So thanks.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes, enjoy the weekend. It's the weekend. Woo! All right, bye-bye.